Hi everyone, welcome to Road to Print. I'm Andy, and in this episode I'm going to be working on this little chap here. Little chap, he's massive. This is RJ-83. He's from the new Jedi Adventures cartoon, and this was modelled by my friend Dave Moog at Droid Division. And yeah, so James released the files, I printed him, and I'll take you through how we build him, and then we'll paint him. So why don't you join us and see how we get on. Quite cute, isn't he, really? You get a very batteries not included vibe about this. You're a bit too young for it. Right, this is relatively simple. There's not that many parts, or yeah, compared to most droids, there's not a lot of parts. All this is printed in PLA Plus, eSun, PLA Plus, and it was 4 walls and 10% infill. Yeah, so it's quite chunky. So the first thing you need to do is clean your print stuff, as in get the brims off, that sort of thing, just clean it up. And then you don't do much to it, it's just some files and some sandpaper. Generally I find an 80 grit sandpaper is more than enough to clean it up. And then, as you saw in the intro, I've done a test fit before I paint it. So I'm going to test fit this one. Make sure all the pieces fit, and then we'll paint it afterwards. So we'll start off with the dome, and you have the inner head and the outer head, and you can see on the outer head you've got the 3 points here, and they correspond to these 3 points here. So essentially all you need to do, just line the points up, and there's like a little ledge there. So if I put it back out again, you see this bit here corresponds to this gap here. So it just sits in like that, and then you just make sure it. I'm not going to push it in just yet. You just make sure that sits level and that's all in line. Now the reason I'm not going to push it in yet is because I need to first tidy up the edges, but I also need to get this in, which is the ball joint. So let me quickly just tidy up the edges, and then I'll come back. Right. So I've sanded this section here with 80 grit sandpaper, and this goes into this slot here. So I might need to sand it a bit more, but you see it goes in like that. But these 2 holes here should level with those 2 holes there, and found with my printer it actually makes quite a tight, it's quite tight. Dave's instruction says you need to glue this bit, but with my printer I'm finding I don't need to glue it. So I'll just sand this a bit more, and then when I'm ready I'll come back and show you how it goes in and what we do with the dowels as well. Speaking of, I've got 3, you only need 2. 2 dowels go into those 2 holes there and push through these 2 holes as well, and holds the whole thing together. So let me sand this a bit more, and then we'll come back. Filed it a bit, sanded it, and went out with a smaller file as well, both on the inside and on the peg that's going the lip that's going in here. So now I've just got to finish pushing it in, and as I said, it's still quite tight, so I don't think I need to worry about glue at this point. What I am going to do is very gently just push it in. I'll keep pushing it in and then I'll get back to you. There we go. I've very gently hammered that in, both in the middle and on each corner side here. And as you can see, it's now a clear hole all the way through, which means that I know that this is all the way through and is resting against this hole here. So the next bit is to get these dowels in here. So again, it's these dowels, isn't it? Yeah, it's these dowels. So again, they need sand in so they all fit in the hole. At the moment, they won't even fit. So they're the right dowels. They're the long dowels. So those dowels, and it actually sand those at all. They should just go through with a bit of persuasion. Okay, okay, it might need a bit of sanding. But I'll sand it a bit and then they literally just push in and just need something to push them in all the way through. So to about halfway to about there. So I'll just quickly sand those. And then we'll come back. I should point out the dowels only go one way, so they won't fit this way where the eye is. But they will go in through the front where the DD is. So they go in through the front and then they push through. Okay. There you go. Dowels are in, and as I mentioned before, they don't go in this way where the eye is. In fact, when you print them out, you look through, you'll see there's a natural stop point where the dowels can't go any further. So essentially you just keep pushing the dowels in until you hit that stop point, just a sort of slight lip on the, the diameter changes slightly, and then you push it through far enough. So that's the inner head and the ball joint ready. So now the next step is to put the outer head on, and as I said, it's literally just a case of lining these up. Done. You can see these holes here, so some dowels go through there. As long as the two halves of the dowels meet, the two holes meet up, it's in the right place, and it's one on each side. These hold these panels in, these side panels. I said there are dowels. There's these little dowels here that will just go in on both ends like that, and the dowel itself pins the inner and the outer head together, but it also holds that panel on as well. And you also have these dowels do the same thing, but they will stick out like this. So your choice at the end of the day with these. So that's the head ready. The only other thing you need to do is put the eyes in. There are lenses to print for these. I haven't printed them yet because I'm going to look at a way of doing them like clear resin, or print them with clear PLA and then do a lot of sanding to get them as clear as possible. Or it's the Christmas tree ornament route. I haven't decided which yet, but it doesn't detract having the eyes in. So you've got the outer eye ring, and they literally just go on like that, and then obviously just sanded a bit, so I'll do that now. So the eye rings are ready to go on. It's literally just a case of doing that. It's literally just a case of pushing them in. There you go. So that's how it's pushed in. It was literally just a case of pushing them in. So they're in. Next step is the top plate, which will sit on like that. Like everything else, it has dowels to put it in, and there's two choices of dowels. You've got short or long. The short will mean that it sits flush. The long means it will sit about that high. For painting purposes, I'm going to put the long dowel in. It's entirely up to you which one you do. So like everything else so far, it's just a case of sanding it to fit. So let me just extradite this from the brim. So yeah, dowel goes in there like that. The other piece of dowel goes in without pushing the inner dome out. It goes in like that, and then you'll be good to go. Yeah, so I'll sand this, and I know I need to sand the inside of this out as well, and the inside of the inner thing to get it all to fit. But it will sit like that. So yeah, I'll get on with that. So I've sanded that down really smooth and also thinned it out as well. And likewise on this hole here, I've sort of done this and scraped away the outer layer. So, I was going to do it on here, I haven't needed to. So the pops in there, that pops in there, and then assuming your inner dome has popped out. There we go. As I said, the shorter one will obviously make it look sit flush, but for the moment this is what I'm going with. So the next step is I think I'm going to go with side panels, which, as I said, go there and there, like that. Again, you can have flush or you can have them sticking proud. I'm having sticking proud because it's easier to paint it. You know, stick proud, it's the sort of bone-shaped ones. To sit flush, it's those sort of sized ones. Both of which are in the files. So again, these are going to need sanding, really smooth, really fine, to sort of sit in there and in there. So yeah, so they kind of they sit further down, almost down to this sort of level here, down to here. So more sanding. If you don't like sanding by the end of this, then can't help you. So I sanded one just so you can see what I'm on about. Sanded it flat, and then that just pushes in there. Like that. As you can see, that's now holding this side of the inner dome on, and then the outer panel just slides on nicely like that. So I'll repeat the same for the other side, and then I'll come back to you with it already on. Right, next step is the arms. See here, it's got the arm side plates that live there. You've got the arms themselves, which are essentially shaped a bit like the dowels. Got the forearm, and then you've got the hands. But you can see there are two different. There's two sets of forearms. Dave says they are different to make different poses, whether it's sort of like this or like this. But honestly, looking at them, I can't actually tell the difference. I can't tell the difference. I think they're actually the same, but I could be wrong. So I'm just going to pick two random arms. So say those two, and then it's the same again. So sand so that that goes on a bit better than that. This little peg is pushed through from this side, that hole, pushed through that hole there, and then clips on to there. This bit again looks like a dowel on there. It goes on like that. Actually, don't need to do anything with that, just goes on. It's not going to come off now with it. Next one. Alright, we'll come off with some force, and then yeah, that's pretty much all that needs to be done on it. That's now stuck. So I'll get this off and then start sanding, and then be ready to just, just pop the arms in. They just go in these little dowel holes, just there, just like that. In fact, yeah, just like that. If you don't want those, you can just pop in, one of these dowels in like that, and then just put the panel on like that, and it will sit flush. So it's up to you, you can have hands or not. In this case, I want to put the hands in. Let me just get this out and then try sanding it all so that I can actually take this on and off easily. Right. I'm going to put this pin all the way through here, and to ensure it's a tight fit, I'm going to do it this way. Make sure I have put it through the right way around. It's the right way around. So that's now pushed all the way through, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this bit around so that this arm can swing around freely, but the less sanded side is now snug in there, it's not going to come out. Also, what you do need to do is, before you put this arm on, and I'll do it before it gets painted, is glue this bit so it's tight. So I'm just going to put some EMA weld in there, and that will just melt it together, weld it together. But for this purposes at the moment, it's just going to be pressed in like that. I mean, that's not coming out anytime soon, not without breaking it. So I'm going to sand this, and I can put the rest of the arm on. Right, so I'm just getting the arm ready. As you can see, I'm using the files just actually scrape out the inside diameter. I've already, make sure I pick up the right one. I've already sanded this end here. As you can see, the arm just goes on like that. And I sanded this bit of the pin and smoothed it out. And again, the arm goes on like that. So there's the arm. So the only other thing I've got to do now is just sand this bit here to put the just realised I put the wrong arm on. Should have done this arm. So that's the right. Something I should have mentioned. They are labelled left and right. Is it on here? So you probably won't see it on here, but there's an R there, and then on the left is a mirrored R. Likewise, there's an R there and a mirrored R there, so you know which way around it is. So I've just done the other hand, but it actually needs to do the same again on this hand. Put this hand on. I should check that before I did it. Yeah, and as I said, I just got to sand this bit off to put that on. But I need to be able to take it off freely to be able to paint. So that's what I'll do now. Right, so I sanded this, and as you can see, it goes on nicely and easy enough to come off. And then yeah, we've got the hand. And the hand is posable to a degree. Obviously, it kind of twists off. So it's something to bear in mind if it's being posed, that you have to kind of almost push down as you pose it, push back again. It's something I would explain to my kids when they get it. They won't listen. And then it goes in there like that. So I'm going to repeat that for the other arm. I'm halfway there already, and then we'll move on to the neck and legs. Looks quite good, doesn't it? Right. I said it's the next, which is the ball joint. So this goes into the ball socket under there, and then this goes into that, and then that goes into there, and that's the front. So essentially that all clicks together like this. This bit, the dowel, goes through here. It's very tight, but essentially the way it's printed, so this is printed flat like that, this is printed like that. Individually they're not very strong, but put the two together you now have the strength of this way combined with the strength of this way, so it shouldn't snap as easily. Unfortunately it just means you've got to really sab it smooth to be able to get this in. It may end up having to be a case of hammering it in and maybe cutting halfway around, turn it around and hammer it in the other side. We'll see. But so the first step is I'm going to get the dowel in here, and then we'll put the cap on and then sand the ball smoothish enough to get in there and sit in and become the ball joint. Then we'll put the body on. Last step will be the legs. So you can smooth this basically like this all the way along. It starts to smooth out through a lot of print lines, and then use the 80 grit sanding block to just smooth it out before. Essentially just going to do that all the way down. So I'll get on with that, and then we'll look at this bit. Right, so I've sanded this dowel down quite a lot, it's fairly smooth. Notice a couple of rough spots. So it's fairly smooth. At this point it is going to be a case of knocking it in with a hammer, but I'm not going to knock it on here because it's not solid enough. So I'm going to go outside, put it against a pavement brick and just gently tap it in. I suspect I'm going to go about halfway. I'm going to have to just chop it with a knife and then spin it around, put it in the other way. Still the same effect, but I'll let you know when I get back. Oh, that was surprising. That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. A couple of hits and it went to about 3/4 of the way. Not much poking out, so give it a quick file on the sand, go into a bash, and it's gone all the way through. So don't be afraid to really sand that dowel as smooth as you can, and then don't be afraid to hit it with a hammer either. So that's now in. I shouldn't need to use a hammer again. Next step is you need to sand the top and bottom of this. I mean, you could sand all the way down anyway, really for priming, but in order to get this on, and then that as well. In fact, that. So that's the next bit. Right, so sanded this smooth, and I don't mind this being tight because it's not really going to come out at all. So that needs to get pushed down. A bit tighter than I wanted, but I think it gets pushed down to where these ridges start here. That seems to be what it's like on Dave's picture. I mean, sensibly, it's not coming out now, is it? Anyway, that's now in. The test fit on the other side, that just goes in nicely. So it's essentially like that. I guess how far down you push that ball is up to you. There's plenty of space still in there. There doesn't appear to be a stop point, so maybe it's a case of it's supposed to slide up and down. No, that's not going to now. So my next step is I need to sand this smooth because that's going to get put into the ball joint in there. So sand that. So that goes in there like that. That's the front. And then the next step will be the legs. So yeah, that is right. Yeah, like that. So yeah, sand that. Okay, so now we come to the legs. Feet, you can see, have like a notch, around here. That's the front of the foot. Yeah, that's the front of the foot. So looking like that. Oh yeah, they're even labelled. So there's a little R in there. That's so that you know that's the right. And there's a backwards R. You know that's the left. Basically mirrored on the little plate. And then the R piece of this will slide to there. It's there like that. And then that piece will slide to there like that, using this little jewel thing. And then this piece will slot into there. And then there's two dowels that come out there that plug into the body, like that, essentially. So it's more sanding, and I'm going to put the feet on last. So I'm going to start with the hips, I suppose they are. No, those are the hips, so I suppose they're still part of the hips. So I'll start with these bits and essentially get this bit to slide in and put the dowel in as well. This will be another point where I use the clamp to push it together. These are static legs, so there's no point making sure that they're movable. They don't move. So I'll get on with that. As you can see, I've put this bit in. I think I call that a knee because it kind of reverse legs, a bit like a bird. I suppose it is a knee. That bit's in. Just sanded it enough to get it in, and then tapped it in with a hammer. Again, this should be glue joined around here, and I will do that. And then these dowels need to be glued as well. Speaking of, yeah, the thick dowels that I nearly tried to put in the inside of the inner dome, this is where they go, and they just go in like that, and they need pushing as far as possible into here. Yeah, so I just need to sand these down, pop the dowels in, and as I said, I'll use the clamp to put them in, and then it's the case of sanding this little jewel that will sit in there to put the leg on. So I should get on with that. Right, so I'm not quite sure what happened here. Seems I didn't check my microphone was recording when I did the video. So anyway, as you can see here, I've put the legs, put the dowels in, and I've had to sand them off a bit so they're nice and smooth. And I use the clamp again to clamp the dowels in to the top of the legs, and they aren't coming out, which is fine because you don't want them to come out. You want them to be able to come out the hips there that I got, and that's the front, the curved bit there, and then the legs should just push in like that, and you know you've got it the right way around because it will look a bit like a chicken. But yeah, that's the way around you want it. The next bit you want this little jewel thing, and that goes into the knee joint there. Again, it's going to need sanding, and then the rest of the leg will connect into that. So as you can see here, I've sanded it and I've squished it in. I used the grips again to squish it in, and then I'm going to get the other half of the leg and I'm going to use that. So I need to make sure it's sanded so it at least semi-fits, and then push the two pieces together and make sure you get them the right way around. They will only fit one way round. Again, they are labelled right and reverse right, not left, reverse right, so you know you got them the right way around. But it should give you that backwards looking leg there like that. You know that's the right way around. And then it will slot into the corresponding foot. Again, it will be labelled R or a reverse R, like that. So you know that's correct. So the next thing to do will be to sand that slightly more, and then I'll use the clamp to clamp it together. So as you can see here, you've got the slot for the legs, and it's got an angled cut on the inside, and that angled cut matches the angle on the leg there. So it will only go in one way, and you'll soon know if you've got it the wrong way around. And then the next thing to do is actually just put the legs together. So here we go, I've pushed the legs together, or one of the legs at least anyway, and as you can see I've used the clamp to push the two parts onto the jewel. That isn't coming apart again, that's fine, you just mask it to paint it. and I sanded that so it's tight but it's removable. That's basically what I'm aiming for. So it's just sanded a little bit more to just get rid of the print lines than to change the actual shape of the foot of the leg. So just a slight bit of sanding. And it just pushes into the leg, and that should just clip in. He says, straining. It should just clip in. There we go. So that's one leg done. As you see there, you can see that the cutout bit sits almost flush with the ankle, or the ankle joint. It probably should go flush, but as you can see here, where I'm pushing down, I don't want to put too much pressure and snap the joint, because the pieces aren't that thin, that thick really. So if you put too much pressure on it, you can quite easily snap that part of the leg. So I'm quite happy with that. I just got to repeat it for the other leg now, which is just sanding the bottom, and then it should just fit. So there we go. I have two working legs, two completed legs. As you can see there, that's the front, and the dowels should just push into those two holes there. And you know you've got the front because of the little ball joint, and then the back dowel is almost invisible once it's in. And there you go. You got yourself a chicken walker. Sorry, you got yourself an RJ droid. And as you can see here, he doesn't look quite stable, and I couldn't work out whether it's because I hadn't got the legs level, or maybe because the foot wasn't fully in, or maybe just the foot walked, and never quite got the straight of it. So now we've got the ball joint for the neck, and that goes into the bottom of the head, and providing you smoothed out the ball itself, a bit of force and the joint on the top of the head will sort of pull apart so very slightly, so you can put a bit more pressure on than I'm doing here. I was a bit nervous about doing it, especially as it's the first time that actually two pieces are actually connected. But yeah, it will just go in, and you've then got the free movement. And if you've got the that part of the neck glued in to the ball joint, it's quite easy to then remove the neck, the ball joint from the bottom of the head. As I said, it's quite easy to remove. And then that just slots back into there, and there we go. We've got our little RJ droid ready for painting. His posable arms, and I imagine right now when I was filming this I was making sort of droidy noises, but you'll never know, because you can even see on my screen there with the OBS software, it's not even recording the sound, and I didn't notice. But yeah, so as you can see here, I was talking about the dowels, so you can replace the arm, to take that part of the arm off, put the dowel on, and then make it flat against the body, a bit like you can with the pop-out panels at the top. As you'll see later on in the video, I kind of abandoned that idea because the kids aren't going to be careful. But yeah, that's ready for painting now. I must admit, I'm really pleased with them. They're quite cute little droids. But yeah, it's ready for painting. Right, it's been a couple of months. Basically, I've had other projects going on. So I've finally sanded these down. I've given them a couple of coats, sanded them down, more coats, sanded them down. Not as smooth as I'd normally make them. But then they're for the kids, so I don't think they really care. You can see some print lines. If this is going on display for like a droid builders convention, or I'd put a bit more effort, but the kids just want to play with them, so they don't care too much. So as I said, they're all sanded down. I put them back together in pieces just to make sure I had everything. Next step is some grey primer. I'm taking them back apart and grey primer in them, but grey primer. So that's where we are at the moment. There we are, primed. That was a can and a bit of Halford's primer. So I'm just going to let that dry, and then I can think about painting it properly. Right, so I've got some base colour down. I've had a bit of paint splatter, unfortunately. So I'll wait for it to dry and I'll sort that. But that's the orange done. I started on the yellow for the top. These will get masked off for yellow as well. Dome's been painted white and then be masked off for the grey. And then on the other one, we're going pink. So again, that'll need masking off. And the complementary colour, I'm going to get a purple. I thought I had a purple, but I don't. So we're going to have purple as a complementary colour with the pink and the white. To be fair, those will be painted off now. Yeah, so basically just going to let it all dry now. Have another go at the orange, more than likely. And then mask off to do the extra colours and the bits on there. Actually, I'm going to turn this over now, because I don't want that to happen. So yeah, just let them dry now, and then we'll mask off and do the other colours on the other bits, and then we'll see how we get on. Right, so I've masked them up and given them a coat, and I love this purple. I'm going to use this purple on something else. So that's okay. Shouldn't need another coat, I don't think. And then once that's dry, I can unwrap that and then do the silver there. On the other one, on the yellow, I'll take another coat. Because it's yellow, it doesn't coat anything very well. And then again, unwrap that, cover these bits up and do the silver. And I just got to finish masking up the heads. I can do the same with the heads. Yeah, I'm loving that purple. Right, here we go. They're painted. There's a few issues with the painting. The orange just splatters, but yeah, I'll cover a lot of it with weathering eventually. But yeah, they're painted. I'm really pleased with that colour scheme. And now I'm just going to clear coat it, and then we can put it together. I still actually need to print the eyes, but yeah, so just a bit of clear coat, and then we can do, once that's dry, we can do a final assembly. Right, those have been clear coated. Unfortunately I forgot about this pink and how it reacts to clear coat. So when that's completely set, I'm going to have to sand that back and respray that bit. It's only that bit that's done it. Well, actually, and that bit there. But all the other pink is fine. Weird. Anyway, so I'll let it all set properly, sort that, and then it's ready to put together. Right, so I printed the lenses out. I printed them in black PLA. I even left the support in because I didn't realise they were sort of effectively just a shell. They were originally designed to be lit up from behind, but I painted them black. Well, sanded them with 60, sorry. Sanded them with 60 grit. Spray putty, sanded them. They're more or less smooth. And then sprayed with a black gloss. So we kind of got that black lens effect. I might give them a quick coat of lacquer, and then they just simply push into there. And I say simply because this is painted and this is painted, it might be a bit of a sanding, but yeah, I'll sort those out, and then we can finally put the other panels back in, and these will be done. Incidentally, I've decided that these pop-out panels, not the arms, but these ones, they're going to stay flush. So they'll be flush to the body, including this top one as well, simply because these are quite thin and the kids aren't going to be careful with them, so I'm just going to keep them flush for the kids ones. Yeah, which is fine because I haven't done any detailing on the inside of the panels, so just keep them hidden. They're not going to be stuck like that. You can easily pull them out and change them over for the top, the extended ones, but that's where I'm going with these. So yeah, I'll get on with that. And there we are, done. I'm quite pleased with them, to be honest. I think the black eyes give them a bit of character. The lenses are designed to have LEDs behind them, but I thought, yeah, the black kind of works just as well. Still, batteries not included vibes about them. So, as you can see, I've got the panels on. I have a bit of a confession to make. They're hot glued in. I did start getting the pegs and sanding them down. These are the smaller pegs that sort of fit in here, and the panel should sit flush. And I'd started on the pink one doing that, and they got stuck halfway. I couldn't pull them out and ended up snapping them on both sides. So I gave up on that plan and just hot glued them in. So this one has the nubs of the pin sticking out, which means my daughter's never going to be able to have the panels popping out. I don't think she'll ever want them popped out anyway. As I said, that's hot glued down, and this one's completely hot glued down. So I don't think the kids will mind too much. I don't think they'll care because they can still move it around. They can still move the arms. So yeah, I think they'll be happy with these. This is a lot longer than it should have taken. This was supposed to be like a 2-week job. I started it in May. It's now September. On and off with different things. So yeah, so apologies to Dave from Droid Division for taking so long making this. I hope you like them, and my kids have been really patient waiting for them as well. So yeah, on to the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.